All right, we're getting ready to start historical fiction book clubs in fourth grade. So hopefully, spend a little bit of time reviewing the front matter. Never want to start a unit without reading that orientation and really understanding the big overarching goals and the bend goals and where you're going with this unit. So, um, one of the things that probably jumped out at you is this idea of historical fiction is right away just pretty complex text for fourth graders. We've already done some of the work that you'll revisit now in this unit through Tiger Rising, just reading analytically and noticing, authors' intentions and repeated use of symbols and things like that. But now we're doing that work within historical fiction. So to get us started in this unit, session one, this is one of those sessions that I was rereading it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this teaching point is written 4 or 5 different times and written differently 4 or 5 different times, which really is a great way for me to remind you that you just need to find the way that you want to say it, stick with that way, and make it your teaching point memorable and repeatable. And if you can add a visual or gesture so that kids can pull out this strategy when they need it, and they will remember better what it is that they could do. So it's written this way in a few different places. Session one is called Reading Analytically at the Start of a Book. And then it says in this session, you'll teach readers to pay attention to the start of a book to analyze setting. It specifically calls out setting, when the story takes place, where, and what it feels like there. In the actual session, I noticed it says, today I want to teach you that readers pay attention to the mood and atmosphere in the places, paying attention to the clues to figure out what kind of place. So I guess that is sort of talking about setting, but it never said the word setting in the way it's written there. And then again, you have your anchor chart that you're putting up, and that says reading analytically, studying parts that clue them into facts, feelings, or setting. So now we're not just the setting, it's the facts and the feelings. So again, whichever way you want to hook into this session is fine. For me, I kind of because all books start a little bit differently. I like the way it's written on the anchor chart. And plus, that's now already written out for me. So I don't have to come up with a different visual or gesture because it's actually on the anchor chart already. So I'm going to try and stick with that language. So what I'm saying is, after you do your connection, here's what my teaching point will sound like. So today, readers, I'm going to remind you of work that you've really already done throughout the year as readers of fiction. And now we're in historical fiction, but we can't remember the strategies that we've been practicing, even starting back to the beginning of the year at Tiger Rising. So today, I want to remind you that readers really pay attention to the clues to help them understand better facts, feelings, and setting. And this has to happen right at the start of a book. And that's where we are. Today, we are starting new historical fiction books. So you need to start right away pulling clues about the facts, the feelings, and the setting of your book. And you can tell a little story, or maybe you've already done that in the connection, but just remind you today that we are paying attention to clues at the start of the book to help us gather information about facts, feelings, and settings. I tend to count across my fingers, and then I can ask them, hey, what are the 3 things we're looking for clues on? Facts, feelings, and setting. You could just have the kids list them and repeat them with you before you actually go off and do that work. And then I can say that again and just list them across my fingers. Oh, we're going to read this Rose Blanche book. Watch me as I pay attention to clues about the facts, the feelings, or the setting. And in this one, I think there's actually a lot of settings, so that could lead to a little bit of modeling. Then they could try it on the second page, say, okay, now you try it. Are you noticing clues about the facts, the feelings, or the setting right now? And pull out some examples in their active engagement. And then, okay, now we're all going off to start new books. This is such an exciting time. Yay, hooray. Don't forget, right from the start of your book, you want to be paying attention to clues about the facts, the feelings, and the settings in your new books. Ready for this work? Now off you go. Okay. If you have a better visual, like I keep picturing the detective eyeglass, like a magnifying glass. If you had that, you can use that as a gesture. Or if you've been doing work with Post-its, like just like, wow, if I rip this in, I just can flag like what are clues that I think are going to be important later that I can come back to. You could just have them flag little Post-its. Um, and the other visual that kind of popped in my head is if you're doing a lot of work with journaling, you just like read with a pen in hand, like gather your clues, gather your evidence, like you're a mystery, you're a detective, and you're gathering your clues right from the start about facts, feelings, and setting. This repeated teaching point also just leads me to a little bonus for you fourth graders. Any kids who need extra scaffolding, I'm picturing facts, feelings, and settings like a trifold right in their notebook. Like, you can have them um, gathering evidence in a more organized way if they need it. And that can go for some of your kids or all your kids if you want. So, anyway, just a little fun to get us started. Hopefully, me saying that teaching point 17 times gives you an idea of how you can make something repeatable. And then we'll work together now to look over the next 12 or so sessions so that we have this language, what we in our own district want to say, and gives people a little bit to scaffold onto as they read and start this unit. So thank you for your work. Have fun.